Hi everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for the Q&A of Sisters. This summer we found our superpowers. I hope everyone enjoyed the film, and please remember that this film is available for an audience awards, so don't forget to rate all the films you watch when you're done. And I would like to thank our sponsors of the film, Tom and Pam Brown, and our major sponsors. So we couldn't do this without you. Thank you so much. And I'm really excited to have the filmmakers of the film today who are in Norway right now, Silje Salomonsen and Alred Austin Olmonsen, with us here today. Thanks so much for doing this Q&A with us.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah. But first off, the film is just absolutely gorgeous and just a wonderful film, and we're so grateful to have it in our program.
Thank you.
Yeah,
for the actors, by the way.
Oh, hi! I recognize your face. Yeah, so for people who don't know, you are a married couple, and the girls in the film are actually your daughters, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And so I'm just curious, why you decided to make a film with your family, and also just how difficult or how exciting it was, and kind of,
Well, actually, me and Arild has worked together for many films and many years. I have been the actress then, and he has been the director. So now we kind of wanted to make a movie for children because maybe the problem especially in Norwegian children's movie is it's always adaptations of books or known figures from TV or so we wanted to make an original story. And we also wanted to kind of focus on the acting and make child acting natural. I'm always been into the acting, of course. I usually work as an actor and how to act in a way that people can believe, and especially with children, like when they play, they are very convincing. So that's what we do. We play, and the child does that all by themselves, very natural. And we experienced a very interesting thing with those two girls, because the youngest one was 4 years old.
Wow.
and was kind of just into the playing and into the situation, and she could improvise in a way. And the oldest were 8.
Yeah.
And she was more aware of that, what we were doing, and that it was
more self-conscious in a way. So two different kind of
two different approaches, but both of them kind of met in a way, and it found its place. But the reason we chose our own daughters was actually to just
it was to avoid having other parents on the set. Because we made this movie and actually we worked this way in a couple of movies before this one, where we worked very
low budget
and very few, that is to say no one else on the set, and it's just me with the camera, and now it was me and Silje behind the camera, and we wanted to kind of stay that way. So if we had used other kids, we had to have kind of, maybe not their parents, but we had to have grown-ups taking care of those kids. But now, and we thought, in a way, we thought it was a good idea because we kind of know their limits. But what we also experienced was that they also know our weaknesses. So it actually it's a bit more tricky than we maybe thought in the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure, but I just think that's what is so strong about the film, is those performances from them, and they're just so intimate and so like natural. And like you said, the youngest one, her character is kind of that, when you're a child, that wild and free, and then the other one is kind of trying to be the older sister and more serious, and yeah, you got that dynamic so naturally, and
she feels the ansvar,
responsibility.
the responsibility for the whole situation.
And that was also, in a way, the reason we end up casting our daughters, because I had started writing this story, thinking not thinking about casting our own daughters, but then after a while I realized that it was kind of inspired by the dynamics between those two. So we thought, maybe why not just try them.
Yeah.
And they have also acted in previous grown-up films that we made. So they had a little experience. Mm-hmm. So we knew that there might be they might kind of they could work in a way. So yeah.
Yeah, it definitely it pulled off. I think that's the strongest part of the film to me, is that relationship, and similar to experience of my younger brother too. Like, it's something that everyone can kind of relate to that are siblings.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious. There was a lot of moments in the film too that just felt so kind of surreal and magical, and how you kind of came with that idea, or a little more about that.
You think it's surreal?
A little, yeah. Like, I feel like it has that, that childlike imagination, like.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if this answers it, but there was also a kind of a goal for us to be down there on the ground with the kids, both literally but also in the way of seeing the world. So there would be no kind of we try not to have the kind of grown-up look at the world and then, because when they meet grown-ups, they see them, they get no kind of explanation. You get no explanation, but you get their kind of experience of, for instance, the old lady who's maybe she's kind of demented or something in a mild way, but they don't know nothing about that, so they just experience
Mm-hmm.
Or like the guy at the hospital too, and they just take what he said, like it's just someone talking to them, and that innocent.
And of course, we also talked about balancing two kids being lost in the mountains. Mm-hmm. It's kind of scary for real, but the movie shouldn't be scary. And children often forget the situation. They're just living here and now. And we were kind of trying to make it not too scary for a small audience.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that they feel the responsibility, especially maybe the older one who can relate to having a younger sibling.
Yeah, because like it's definitely, if you really were lost, out there, would it be like like more like a horror story or something like that? But there's this kind of this hope that you build in the film, I think, and that everything's gonna be okay, and kids need that. I'm curious, like, if you've heard feedback from children who've watched the film and how they've been able to receive it.
Well, it has been very great to experience, because we kind of, I thought it would be for the smaller children, but it's kind of more broad.
It seems that people can experience it on different levels. So we have had some really interesting, and we had recently we had a screening in Italy for 300 Italian kids at about 6 to 10 years old. We were really kind of we didn't know how they would react. It was really strange for us that they related to two kids in Norway. So
and they asked the same questions as the Norwegian kids.
Yeah.
But they're also fascinating that the kids are really asking about specific details in the film. So they kind of notice stuff that the girls do that maybe grown-ups don't see. For instance, the way they touch the grass and stuff like that. The kids seem to be really into that. So I think there's some kind of in a way that we try to. It's also kind of obvious in the film, but the way that especially the youngest girls see the world as some kind of a semi-magical world there, where things might be a little bit magic. Yeah, and I think that's the way, as Silja said in the beginning, when children play, they do that kind of stuff. They interact with nature, and a tree can be alive and stuff like that. So yeah.
And I also experienced that they really connect to the characters and relate to them, and I believe it's because it's many of the situations are we kind of approached it in a way that we gave them a task and they should react spontaneous at first, and then we maybe went in and guided them. An example, when they crossed the river, we just asked them to cross the river, and we didn't say anything else. And
we just put them on the one side, and we ran over to the other side.
So then the situations appear that we maybe haven't written down or we couldn't imagine, but it kind of leads us in another direction. That's very true to the kids, and that they can, you see on the small kids that are watching the movie, they relate to this kind of solving the situations in a way, because it's like a child. It's not a grown-up have written what you in this movie should do.
Yeah. And I think you definitely feel that it's so natural, and for me personally, it reminded me of the way, that I used to think, or I grew up in the country, and you would just come up with all these weird solutions, or you would cross the river in a very particular way, and you'd touch certain rocks, and you'd make it into a whole thing, and so that's just so cool. So I'm curious, do you want to make a movie as a family again?
Well, straight afterwards, we said never again.
Okay.
But now,
you quickly forget.
Yeah, you
it
quickly forget.
It was harder than maybe any other thing we've ever done in making films, because you had to be, you had to make the film, and then after the day is done, you have to be parent, and you're really tired, and then you have promised them maybe to go bathing for 3 or 4 hours, so you have to do that. So it was quite tough.
Yeah.
But maybe we will
have crew next time, I think.
Yeah, maybe
a small crew.
Yeah. So how was it? Just the 4 of you, or Oh wow. Okay. So very.
So some scenes where it's kind of dangerous nature or steep mountains, we had some help, or some neighbors, or my brother, and just to kind of keep it safe and keep the motivation.
Yeah.
And so the guy who plays their father, he's actually he's a stunt guy.
Oh. Okay.
So they really looked up to him, and it was very easy when he was on set.
Yeah.
They felt safe with him.
Yeah.
As with us.
Wow. That, I mean, I'm in awe even more that you the 4 of you pretty much made this film. That's just so awesome. So I'm curious, what do you have as a couple? Are you gonna make more projects together, and what your next project is?
I think we will. As we said, me and Silja, we've actually met. I think on a short movie I made for over 25 years ago, and we actually didn't become a couple before after 10 years. So working together as an actress and director has been something that's been really natural for me. So I see and her. So I see no point in, and now we're kind of developed that relationship into she's more kind of more and more into the writing and stuff. So I think most definitely, and
the children also are missing making movies now. They're telling us, so maybe they're kind of opens up a possibility to make another film about they're getting lost somewhere else.
Yeah, maybe getting lost in Japan somewhere when they.
Oh, that would be so cool.
In the real Tottori, which actually is a city or a place in Japan.
Oh, that would be so awesome. I can see it now. Yeah, so do the girls, do they have interest in film and making movies, and do they make their own projects and things?
Yes, they do make projects with their dolls and animations and
and the oldest one is she's in the theater. So she's doing a bit of acting. She really loves the theater more than film.
Yeah, you're just gonna be a showbiz family. I love it.
I don't know about the biz of it all.
I know. Well, that is so it just great to have you both, and thank you for joining us, and just a beautiful film, and I'm just excited for people to see it, because I feel like it just you've captured that magic realism of children and innocence and all of that, and it's just one of a kind. So
thank you. It's really nice to hear.